All right, folks. We're just a few seconds later than 7 o'clock, but we are live, guys. Welcome to CrappieKast. We're gonna let some folks come on here. We got to get all this technical stuff figured out. Jessica's waiting on her headphones, and so that way we'll all be all incognito, looking like twins. But everybody's enjoying this little cool snap. Hey, Mr. Corey Newbie, his sorry butt's been fishing the last couple of days. He pulled a John.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he pulled me. He sent me some pictures. I can't remember.
I'm mad, Corey. You didn't send me a picture.
Yeah, he sent me some pictures the other day. Mr. Bill Lolly Jr., how you doing, buddy? Good evening. We got 15 folks jumped on here pretty quick. Clark Hill was rough. Yeah, they're getting stingy. Them blackfish are getting stingy, ain't they, Corey? They got a bad attitude. John ran in a few of them.
Yeah. Today I did. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Ronnie McKenzie. Evening, buddy. Good to see old Ronnie on here. We got 20 people done popped on. Jess Pratt, how you doing, buddy? Get this thing going here. Let some people jump on here. Like I said, we got 26. There's going to be some people getting on here. And John and Jessica's got their new shirts on. They look pretty good, John. I like that teal color, whatever that seafoam or whatever color that is you got on.
It was...
Don't ask him, he's colorblind.
I am half colorblind. I only use 3 jig colors.
The only mess John went to is just monkey milk. Oh, never mind. I'm not even.
Black is short, orange is short.
Yeah, we're going to go in the story because you were telling me that Jessica put the whooping on you. When was that, Jessica? What?
Last weekend.
Are we already jumping into this already?
Yeah, we might as well go ahead and get it on out. Matt Singley, hello from South Mississippi. Scott Seals. Just got out of the woods pulling cars. He's getting ready for deer season there. I understand. It's coming, buddy. It'll be here before you know it.
Coming quickly. I talked to some friends of mine that are from further up north, and you know their bucks have already dropped like most of their velvet, and
it's crazy.
They're done growing, you know, or
yeah, I guess most of them are because in Kentucky, you don't have but that, about a week of that, the 1st of September there, and then they're getting rid of their velvet. So I think they got a velvet season opening up next weekend in Tennessee. So yeah, David Tarter says South Carolina deer season opened yesterday. Sure does. August 15th. It sure does.
Yeah, man. I remember I was in I want to say I was in AIT up there, and I was talking to some of those guys from South Carolina. We were in South Carolina. They were like, yeah, deer season's in here. I'm like, what? We're out here sweating. I could not imagine. Can you imagine being in a tree stand?
I went to Tennessee last year, and I sweated my butt off. It was awful. I seen
You went for the velvet season?
Yeah, I went up there last year, sat on the ground. I mean, my fat butt cooked like a turkey.
Jessica has got a good reminder for everybody. She just wrote it down. Go ahead.
Yeah.
This month for Alabama.
Alabama, yeah. The end of this month, the end of your fishing that month.
31st.
Exactly. You're exactly right. It is. Mine goes out the end of the month because I got an auto renewal thing the other day. We got 44 folks on here, Johnny. Man,
that's Alabama so backwards. Every other state you go to, when you buy the fishing license, you get a whole year. Alabama are like, oh, we're gonna see what kind of revenue we can get in the 1st of August.
yeah, they do. I bought one in Florida. We have one in Mississippi. And we got one in Georgia now. Since we went to Seminole, we're gonna share some pictures. John just went to Seminole. When was that? Yesterday. No, that's not John. Right there, yeah. John and Greg, right there.
Great.
They caught them pretty good there. That was yesterday, and you went to Lake Talcott today. You said they were kind of stingy. So
yeah, we still caught fish, but man, it was a lot tougher. And where I thought they were going to be, they were not. They had to look a lot more. But we did do. I've caught some catfish before, throwing jigs on live scope, but we came across a school of catfish today. And we had a big time.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
Last time I was down there, I was telling you, I caught some catfish like that. It was fun.
you take a little 5-foot crappie pole and you put a 3-pound channel cat on there, and you got. I mean, that's all I'm gonna say. And we were pitching those jigs out there, and those fish were indexing and just. I mean,
they're aggressive. They're aggressive, you know. And I told John, they're the if there is such a thing as a pretty catfish, those catfish are so much color to them, and they're just gray. And I caught several out there.
They got a pretty like purple color in them.
Right.
Around there that gives them that color. They are for a catfish. They're pretty. I mean, how pretty can a catfish be?
Yeah. Hey, they eat good too. Oh, Mr. Keaton Stan. How you say his last name? Stan. I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
Oh, Keaton's on here. How you doing, buddy? Appreciate him tuning in. Blake McDaniel.
You talking about a heckler fisherman, Keaton?
Oh yeah, yes, they're good folks. Him and his dad. His dad's Les, right?
That's right. He's always something to deal with when he gets in.
Oh yeah, they do really good. He's part of the Power Breaks team. You know, they've been running. They've been running. I think they're the one that actually tested all of them out. So.
Yeah, I he had I think like you said. I remember when I was talking to him about him. He was one of the first ones. I don't know. Maybe Keaton can comment. He might have been the one to get that safety pin added in there.
Yeah, I think they broke a few of them. I talked to Chad Clifton with Power Breaks, and they're coming out with new products. He's trying to keep evolving. They're working on a spring system for them, and there's a lot of new stuff coming. And like I said, he's pretty aggressive on that stuff. He wants to, so hopefully they'll be coming out with all kinds of new products to do with them Power Breaks. Like I said, I'm running them. John's running them. I guess Kevin Hicks, did he get his in?
I don't know. I know Kevin just got a new battery put in today. He hadn't sent me a picture yet of his new, if he's got them on there.
Yeah, since we're.
No, I think who else? Shoot, my buddy Ray. Ray had to be cute. They didn't have the white ones, so Ray had to get his specially powder coated.
Ray, I understand. Ray's got them now. Patrick Stone has them. Eric's got them on his Ranger.
Yeah, he got them on the Ranger.
Yeah, they're gonna be. A lot of guys are running them. And I'll tell you guys, and John and I, we discussed this when we first started this thing together. If we get a great product and we believe in it, we're going to endorse it, guys. It's not about just a sponsor getting on here just a sponsor. I mean, we're not going to recommend something that we don't use ourselves. So, but I was going to tell the story this weekend, guys. I was in a big mud flat, and the wind was, believe it or not, in August the wind's blowing, and that's hard to believe, but it was blowing a little bit. And I was in the mud flat, and I looked over there and seen some trees pitched in the water at a pretty good angle, so I knew there was a creek channel over there. I eased over there, and there was a big red oak tree in the water, and that thing was crawling with some crappie, just some eater size, nothing crazy. And it was so nice to be able to just point the live scope and bump that power brake backwards and just keep casting. Never had to move the live scope, and I had Tommy with me, and I could just line Tommy up, and it wasn't hard. And that's just another tool that you can use. Do you have to have them? No, but it sure is nice. I mean, to me, it's just not having to move your trolling motor, and you just bumping the brakes backwards. And when the boat finally turned, I just turned right back around the trolling motor. And I was talking to Chad, guys. You don't realize that saves a lot of wear and tear on your front trolling motor too. You got a lot of money tied up in that thing, and when you're zigzagging and all you're doing those, there's Enduras in the back. You can buy those things for $60, $70. That front one now is a different story. So it saves a lot of wear and tear on the bushings and everything. So
yeah,
they did good.
Normally, I don't know. When I had my other just single trolling motor on my boat on the back, I wouldn't drop it as much because I was just, I don't know, I would just spin around and blow back with the front trolling motor. Now, I find myself just second nature now, dropping those trolling motors in the back.
Oh, yeah. Well, exactly. Now I know I have them, and, once I get on some fish, like you said, now I use it's an actual tool. It is just like having going from a socket to an impact. It is that big of an increase in the boat control. I mean, no kidding. I mean, For sure. Oh, Michael Smith, but you might as well. We're going to talk about this. But Michael Smith want to know how the kids tournament went. You and Jessica, y'all need to talk about that.
We had I think 133 kids.
It was that in turn 132 was the official number. We had 100. Yeah, go ahead. 100.
And there were 44 boats in the adult tournament. This has been the biggest one thus far.
That's awesome. That is Dippy Outdoors, the kids tournament, guys. They had August the 12th. John went down there and helped them. They had like Jessica just said, 132 kids. I think everybody went away with a rod. Is that right, John?
Rod and reel and
every kid that showed up got a rod and reel. And
that's pretty strong.
And gift bags,
and amazing lunch.
Yeah, amazing lunch. We gotta talk about our buddy. We stayed with our friend Paul Harrington, and he does the majority of the cooking for the kids tournament, and we stay at his place there at Hubbard's Landing, which is, I don't know, guys, if you want to see something that's beautiful, I mean, there at Hubbard's Landing, you can put in there and just ride. I mean, somebody that enjoys just looking at huge cypress trees, beautiful nature, anything to do with it, you can put in at Hubbard's Landing and just go ride for a little bit.
What river is that? Tell everybody what river that is there, John.
That's the Kennesaw River. It's the upper portion of it. It's down close to Stockton, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And it's worth it just to go for a ride down there. But what I was saying is Paul Harrington, he does the majority of the cooking there, and he did 10 Boston butts. I don't know how many gallons of jambalaya.
That's awesome.
Pasta. I mean, it was just unreal.
Hot dogs.
That's awesome. So y'all think that was? Hey, them kids had Christmas in August, man. I mean, that's awesome, dude.
They do it up. It was really good.
I know y'all. You told me y'all showed out, and John and Jessica ain't gonna tell you this, but John and them actually won the tournament and gave the money back for the kids. I mean, they won us a pretty good bit of money and just turned it right back to Dip. Dip didn't know anything about it, and Dip's like, "What is this?" John said, "Hey, put it towards next year. We're gonna make this thing bigger every year." That's awesome.
Jessica and I, we try to have big hearts, and when we go to something charity like that, that's what we consider it as a charity. You know, whether it be a golf tournament or wherever we go to. And what he's doing and seeing the smiles on those kids' faces, if you're there, I mean, it's just heartwarming.
Oh, yeah, man. That's, there's so many kids that's into games and stuff and don't get the opportunity to fish. And you got your boat with all the wraps on and the sponsors and all these rigs with these big I know if I was 10, 11, 12 years old and I seen all that and got to be that close to all that, because all you got to watch was Bassmasters on Saturdays, and you didn't know any of them guys. You see them on TV, but being that close to somebody that fishes, that's an awesome experience for those kids, I'm sure.
I just saw Big Daddy said Alabama Amazon.
Yeah.
He said that, and some people might think he's joking, but if you'll look how that Alabama River and the other rivers coming through Alabama, it's actually considered the closest thing or similar to the Amazon where it comes through. If you'll Google that, Alabama Amazon, you'll find some very, very interesting articles.
Yeah, I know it's a unique wilderness. I guess the Alabama and Tensas meet down there, John. Isn't that what that is?
Well, you got several rivers that come together there. The Alabama, I think it comes into maybe the Mobile, and then you've got the Tom there, and then you got the Tensas that comes in there, Little Lizard. Listen, this would be my advice going down there. Don't show up down there without a good GPS to track where you've gone, because first of all, it's unmapped. So the upper portion is unmapped. So you really, if you didn't hit anything going the way you were going, you make sure you come back the same trail, because the thing about it being unmapped is, and normally people don't realize the work that people do before they go fish somewhere, that people that are really dedicated to it and do tournaments. We'll spend a bunch of couch time on Navionics. It's an app. Navionics.
Right. That's right.
and we like to things that are mapped. We like to go in there and look and see things that we like that we noticed during that time frame where those fish will be. So we'll sit on the couch. A lot of times Jessica does it too. Jessica's got an avionics out. She searches for humps and ledges and stuff just like I do, and we'll compare notes. A lot of times when we're going fishing somewhere, but down there is not mapped. So what you got to do is you got to look at that river system and see if it comes into a short bend there, maybe the inside of that of that part of the river. You can say, hey, well, if there's some stumps there, that'd probably be good. You know, something maybe out of the current if there is current. So you can still see it on the map, but it's just not, there's no contour lines, so you don't know the depth changes in that area.
Right.
So what we did basically is we looked at some maps. We did Google Earth and Navionics. They still had you could still see the water system, but you couldn't see, the depth changes.
Yeah, you have to take your time in those areas, guys. Like that Lower Tensas, a lot of places at Miller's Ferry, a lot of those creeks aren't mapped. I don't know what Lake Master and all of them are doing. They just gave up on some of them sloughs, and it's just a blob of red, And so, like John said, you can record some of that on a SD card, but it's just best thing to do is just get out there and drop your trolling motor, explore, or idle around, like John was saying.
Well, where we fished from the landing was about a 35 minute boat ride going 50 miles an hour.
I'm sure Jess was like,
unmapped.
Oh yeah.
It was interesting because if anybody's ever been to like a tidal area, the tide affects the water level. Well, when you start getting in that stuff, the fingers are just running everywhere, and you can go this way, and you might beat somebody that went this way. You might go this way and outrun them, so there's a little bit of strategy, and then there's, I don't know. You need to really have a game plan if you're going to go first thing in the morning and try to go to the spot and fish.
Right. That's the Tensas River guys right there in Stevenson, Alabama. John and them was down there for the kids tournament, and like I said, 132 kids got rod and reels. The raised. There's so many gifts I don't even know if Dip's even posted all that stuff, but that was August the 12th. They're gonna have it every year, guys, and we're gonna be behind it. And they went down there and helped out and actually won the thing. So let's see. I got some questions on here. That was a tournament right there. Scott Seals. Let's see if we can help old Scott. He says his oil Trex locked up the other day just in one direction. Still would spot lock, would not go right with the pedal. Anyone that ran into such issues with a power steer. You heard that, ain't you, John? Somebody's.
Yeah. If he was getting a beeping sound, it'd be low power, and it'd make him do that. If he continued to do it after he turned it off and turned it back on, it might be the steering control board.
Yeah, I know those boards do go out in those things. So.
Yeah, especially some of the earlier old Trexes had different boards in them, and they would overheat more, and it messed the board up. And sometimes you'd let them cool down, and then they'd go back to working. Especially if you're all right. So the biggest thing when you're using an old Trex, all right, say you're going from one brush pile to another. If you keep that thing on 8 or 10 and just stay in that trolling motor, you're going to heat that board up. So if you ever have that problem and you were doing that, you were moving from pile to pile, and you were just saying you were mashing on that trolling motor at 8 or 10 for 4 to 5 minutes, just constant, you could possibly heat the board up and it issues. The newer boards and the newer oil Trexes are less prone to that.
There you go. Let's see. Terrell's asking what kind of controls are in the power brakes. The only control you got, buddy, is the foot switch that turns them off and on, Terrell. There's not a lot of boards or anything with those things, man, at all. They're pretty simple design. They work pretty well. So I think they're coming out with some controllers where you can turn them up and down. But that's, they're 30-pound trolling motors, so it's not real bad.
One thing I did to mine though that I don't know if everybody else has been doing. I put a breaker
Mm-hmm.
bitch in mine just
Right.
you know.
Right.
But they're 12-volt trolling motors. You still can stand. You got to realize when you're using those back brakes, you're not staying in them like you are a forward trolling motor.
Right.
You're
You're just tapping them. Yeah, that's exactly
trying to
right.
pop the boat back up. And on our live scope catfishing expedition that we did for a little while today, we're using them a good bit for those catfish.
Uh, that's funny. Yeah, I know. Matt Singley saying, what trolling motor do you recommend if you install the transducer on the shaft or with any trolling motor work? Thanks. Man, everybody I know that eventually they're going to either get a Garmin Force or an Ultrex. You know, that's the two most popular ones that I know of. And John, wouldn't you agree? That's what people are running. There's a lot of Ultrexes on some boats. So,
Guys, I love my power poles on the back of my boat, but I have yet to hear somebody stand on their soapbox and say, "Hey, this power pole trolling motor is the greatest thing that I've ever had." I've seen a lot of people get them and sell them.
yeah, you know, Jameson Carr did. He was pumped up about it, and he told me, this is what he told me, guys. He said the style fishing when you're trying to finesse that trolling motor to that fish, the fine tuning, he couldn't do it. Now I don't know, and Jameson's a pretty straight up guy, and that's all I've heard about the Power Pro. I don't know anybody that's got one, but like I said, Matt, there's John runs an Ultrex, Patrick runs an Ultrex, Eric Cagle runs a. Sorry about that, Eric. He's probably gonna kick my butt about that. Eric Cagle runs them. I don't even know what Frank Hadishak's running. I'm sure he's running an Ultrex too. So
yeah,
I know too many Erics. But yeah, Matt, most those trolling motors are. But the only thing is, Matt, don't buy like a. I'm not gonna say a cheaper one. Don't end up getting an Ultrex or a Garmin Force eventually. Don't like me and John. You don't want to go up and get a what's the Fortrex I had, and then end up going with somebody in the Ultrex and then buy the Ultrex. Don't save that money, man, and buy and do your research.
Well, it's better if you can't. I mean, everybody's got different, financial situations. Get what
That's
you
right.
can get, but if you can save and get, if you're going to do forward faces on the trolling motor, you need something with a really good foot pedal that's that does small increments, and some of them don't have great foot pedals.
That's exactly right.
I mean, the people that are running those trolling motors all the time with their right or left leg, their cast's gonna be bigger on that side for a reason. Because you're staying on that trolling motor.
Yeah, Matt, what he's saying, when you got a fish that's sitting on some timber, exactly, and you're trying to fine tune that fish to make him bright as you can in return. Some of those trolling motors jump around so much that you can't do that, and to you physically run the trolling motor, you won't understand. But if you get a really good trolling motor, that helps you finesse that fish. Like I said, if that fish is sitting there and you're positioning it, he's not bright, and you barely move it, especially with your cast, make sure everything lines up. So,
hey, my buddy James Trott said, "Do not get a motor guy."
well, there it is right there. Frank runs a Lowrance Gross. That's what somebody just said. That's what Kevin said. That's a good trolling motor. Zeke Anderson saying it's research you're tuning in, but stay away from Tarova or Artel if you want to run it on a trolling motor. A lot of guys have sold those things, Matt. Those trolling motors people used to spider rig with. A lot of them's been out there for sale. So
Zeke, I was thinking the exact same thing. I just didn't want to. I mean, there's still a lot of people out there that's got the Tarova and Ultera. I mean, it's just the foot pedals, not what. You know what I'm saying? What it could.
Yeah. We're just like I said, guys. There's not a bad trolling motor, but if you go with somebody that has a little higher end trolling motor, you're gonna notice a difference, guys. You're gonna be like, oh, he's able to get and feather on those fish. That's why Jameson said he sold the power pole. He was impressed with the power. He just said he couldn't fine tune that's all he told me, and he sold it. So,
Right.
and that's the only feedback I have from one.
If anybody in Lower Alabama is looking for a really good deal on the oil tricks, I have a very close friend that I actually went out and set his electronics up. He bought the oil tricks and it's got less than 20 hours on it.
Mm.
It is a 24-volt oil tricks, 80 pound. If you're looking for one and want to upgrade to the oil tricks, y'all need to PM me because this is a steal. It's $1,500 he wants to get for it. So that's a $2,800 trolling motor with less than 20 hours on it. So I'm just trying to pass that along to.
Yeah, that's pretty good, guys. If you know somebody looking for one.
Yeah, you'll have to pick it up in South Alabama, but it's a steal. I mean, like I said, less than 20 hours on it.
Yep. Let's see. Shiloh's in here. He said, I'm here and back in business. He must have got his boat back. Good for you, Shiloh. I know he's on fire.
I bet. All right, so Tim, my buddy Tim Pentecost went with him to go pick it up today, or they left about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I can only imagine the smile on Shiloh's face. Let me tell you something. Those Crappie in North Alabama are in trouble.
Oh, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. They don't even know you. All up Weiss Lake, they've been relaxed, and here he comes. So.
Yeah, Shiloh's been without a boat for over 2 months, I think. It's going to be hell in camp up there.
Tommy wants to know what shaft length your buddy's trolling motor. Tommy Randolph. He's asking right there.
Tommy, it's 52.
52. There you go, John.
It's the same as my boat, Tommy.
Okay. There's Dace. Dace Giddens is a Garmin Ultrex cable. Is a Garmin. He's kind of confused me. Garmin 4. The Garmin Ultrex is cable steered, right?
Okay, so
it's power assisted. Explain to that what the Ultrex is.
The Ultrex is Minn Kota. If that's
I think he just accidentally typed Garmin. So
yeah, the Ultrex still has the cable steer, which gives you the micro adjustments, but it's also assisted by a motor.
Right there you go. There it is. My Garmin, Dace, if you are asking, it is Bluetooth and it's pretty responsive. It takes some getting used to, but it is that cordless foot pedal. I've been running it since December, and I'm used to it. And like I said, it does fairly well. I think the Lowrance Ghost is about the same feel as mine. So Tim's saying he may could sell the Ultrex, so that's good. Let's see if I'm missing any questions. I appreciate everybody tuning in. There's 65 people. Kevin Hicks is here. Brandon Lutz, good evening from Northeast Kansas. He's up there with them big old crappie. God, that big old. He's up in the middle of them big old crappie. I've seen some people still catching them up there. Let's see. Greg Hammett, I'm late. Can you catch catfish using live scope, John? That's what Greg just asked.
Yeah, he knows. Yeah, he was on the boat with me today when we did it.
That's your buddy Greg. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh man.
Hey.
He pulled the party foul that I did one time with Patrick Stone, Mississippi Patrick Stone.
Right.
He was slow with the net one time today. I said, where you at, man?
I had to speed him up.
But we lost the fish when I was with Patrick Stone with the net. He's like, I'll never let you net another fish.
Yeah, that's good. Like I said, I had a pretty good weekend. I caught, like I said, I caught a good bit. I was going to share this picture with y'all while we're talking and getting. John and I, we're fixing to start recording some. We're going to call them in-depth. They're going to be technical series, CrappieKast. We're going to start recording. John's waiting on some of his other stuff to come in, and we're going to get into the real details, like of these maps, these creek channels, the navionics. They're using Google Earth. We're going to dig way deep into them, guys, and do a series. I try to do an hour every week along with CrappieKast Live. But like this picture right here, guys, if you can see that creek channel where it swings next to the bank right there. That is a no-brainer when you're trying to catch crappie this time of year. If there's any cover in that bin right there, you can bet your paycheck there's crappie in that area. So we're going to get into stuff like that and go into more details. And John and I have been bouncing ideas back and forth. But I just want to announce that we're going to start doing that. It's going to be in-depth series. It's going to be coming soon, guys. We're going to be going into record those shows and having a good time with it. But
Shane,
make sure. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, John.
so guys, I want to talk to y'all about a couple things right quick. So there's some new things going on with the scales that you weigh fish on. The most common one that you see everybody with, this is the Rapala. It'll hold eight fish, and you can log the fish in, and it lets you know what weight you got, what you want to cut, and basically where you're at, your total weight, and you can look at your smallest fish, throw it out, replace it. Jessica normally does this on the boat to the point where I fished with somebody one day, and he's like, "How do you work this thing?" And I was like, "Oh, look, I'm about to mess with it."
My wife runs it for me. I'm sorry. That's awesome, Jess. Tell him.
It's awesome, but the problem with this scale is the display.
It is very dull. I catch myself having to lean it. And
what happens with it is you get in some sunlight, and like right now it's showing pretty bright, but it's not really it's not that bright when you're in the sun. So Bubba like Bubba Blade, they came out with a scale, and boy, it's got the same grabber and everything as the Rapala, but you saw that display. This sucker right here, let me get it up. That rascal, you can see it. It doesn't matter how bright it is outside. And it will, when you weigh a fish and log it in, it will automatically throw your smallest fish out and replace.
Really? I didn't know that. Okay.
If you buy the Pro Series of this, say Shane and I were going fishing at Lewis Ferry, and we wanted to just have a little friendly competition against each other. There's an app on here. I can look Shane up and start a little competition between he and I. And so you basically could have some of your buddies and going fishing somewhere and start a competition against each other. We're not promoting this by any means. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know you and Kevin had his when we were at Seminole, and you had yours. I remember y'all were. It's cool because like the MLF style, it actually gives you an update if somebody weighs a fish in, doesn't it, John?
Yeah. All right. So when you weigh a fish in and you're competing with your buddy, you'll get a text message saying Shane just weighed a one. Well, in his case, it'd be a 0.30 mile.
Oh man, come on, man! Now go. I'm so used to catching them eaters. I'm just attracted to them.
I'm just messing around, but anyway, it'll give you an update every time you or your buddy weighs in a fish, and it'll tell you what they've got on their scales, and it's pretty. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
I think they come out. They seen all the issues with the Rapala, scale, and they just revised it. Hey, that, and I know.
So, all right, I'm gonna show you this. The Rapala when it first comes up, is really bright. But look at it now. You can barely even.
Yeah, when that sun with the sun, it is very dull.
Yeah, even when it's bright, it's not bright enough. A lot of times I'll see Jessica back there. She'll have something over trying to see what she's got going on.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Like I said, anytime we get some stuff, guys, that we use, like I said, they had them at Lake Seminole, Kevin and him, and they were talking about them at dinner that night when we all ate. So Kevin's saying, I think that Bubba scale will become a tourney standard,
Absolutely.
I believe it.
Now, don't get me wrong, they are expensive.
Oh yeah.
But you don't have to get the Pro Series where you can do the tournaments and all that stuff with your phone. I think the one without that is more reasonable.
Half the price.
Yeah, about half the price, more in line with the Rapala, but still a little bit more than the Rapala.
I need to get Ricky's question sorry about that, Ricky. How different between bodies of water does depth and bait differ in Alabama? Man, that is a vast question right there, buddy.
Oh, the further, Ricky, that you go south in Alabama, let me say this. The closer you get to Florida in Alabama, like some of the smaller places, will have clearer water because you get into more rock and more sandy areas. Um, as far as depth's concerned, if it's hot and this time of the year, it's going to push those fish up to the same type situation. But in Alabama, a lot of like you fall late you fall Alabama, it's all black crappie. And this time of the year, it's tough.
Oh yeah.
And you go to Lake Martin, the majority of Lake Martin's black crappie. It's tough.
Right.
You have to get lighter baits and smaller profile baits and slow it down and just do all your little tricks of the trade to get them to bite.
Yeah, exactly right. And what's crazy, guys, I caught them fish this weekend in 8 or 9 foot of water. They were 4 foot deep, and the water was 90.3, almost 91 degrees. And I was catching them on a 30-second, Jimmy and I, and those fish, you got to realize they don't have anywhere to go in that body of water. The water's stained. You're dealing with a big mud flat. It's 2 miles to the river from back where I was. So, that you just got to pay attention to those things. I mean, those fish know where they're going, and you can repeat that pattern in a lot of creeks on certain bodies of water, Ricky. But like he's saying, Martin's deep and clear. The fish are going to be, all various depths, man. It's a little bit harder fishing, but the more stained the water is, I guess the shallower fish are this time of year, John. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, in some cases, yeah, for sure. But I don't know, man. Right when I think I've got it figured out, it gets
true.
Face.
It does, and you're exactly right.
I thought that when I went from Seminole to Talcott that I was going to be doing the same thing. Boy, did I get kicked in the butt.
Yeah, look at Kevin Hicks. He said they won the Lay Lake. I can't remember the name of that crappie trail. I don't want to offend them guys, but they won. Yeah, the Sunday series.
I think it is.
Yeah, Kevin and Jessica did win that. He said 4 foot of water. There you go. I mean, you don't never know, but you go back the next day and it's a ghost town. But congratulations to Jessica and Kevin. I did see that. Jessica saying, "Hey, let's see, Dunn Sports. The main question he gets at his store is what color of jigs is best. What do you think, John? I mean, if you was going to fish, he's around Miller's Ferry and the Tensas. So what would you say? Hey,
I would definitely start with black and chartreuse, and then go to orange and chartreuse. Which, yeah, Jessica likes orange and chartreuse.
I know.
That's what she was throwing.
At Seminole, yeah.
This weekend when I smoked that butt.
All right. So
anyway, let's go. Guys, I forgot. I mentioned that at the start of the show. Sorry, Jessica. Jessica, let's go on and let's talk about this. When was this? Last weekend, right?
It was the tournament.
This past
It was a tournament. Here we go. Here was the tournament. The Dippy Outdoors tournament. Here we go.
Tournament. But every hole we got on there, I was like, popping them. And John was like, what color are you using? What are you doing? I was like, I don't know. He's like, I'm just going to run the trolling motor race. You just catch all the fish.
She had the same color we had on in Seminole, right?
Orange and chartreuse, yeah. So
that's awesome.
It's just simple. When somebody's got a hot hand, you got to let them do the deal. So all right. So typically in a tournament setting, when she and I are fishing together, I'll make the first cast, and then she'll follow me up, and then we'll just try to alternate. Well, the first cast person usually is going to get the hottest fish. Well, I was sucking it up. I'm not gonna lie. I would roll it in there, and I wasn't catching fish, and she'd roll it in there, and she's popping fish, and I'm telling you, she probably caught 70% of the fish we caught Saturday.
Yeah, John told me that after the tournament. He said, "Hey, Jessica was smoking my butt." That's exactly what he said. That's quote unquote. Jessica was smoking me, and I let her put it to him. So
yeah, well, I mean, you get 2 hours into something, and you see a pattern, and the pattern is you're not doing as good as your partner. You let your partner cast.
Hey, that's just the way it is. Hey, I can net with the best of them, especially in a tournament series, a tournament scenario. Excuse me.
Yeah, you fish the Tensas down there. There's no netting. It's all boat flipping because they're not that big.
I understand. Kevin said Jessica caught their big fish Sunday. I hear you, Jessica Hicks. That's what he's saying right there.
Yes.
But I say that you really should net every fish you catch in the tournament if you're like really, really I don't know. We have brought fish in before and they just barely like an eighth or 16th of an inch of skin holding the fish.
Oh yeah.
That boat flipping, you start boat flipping big fish, that's gonna rip. And a lot of times you know what I'm saying, you're winning by or losing by, you know, point less than 0.10. That's drops.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think when Hayden won that last tournament, it was .03. That's just a few drops of water, right?
Oh,
Let me just say,
yeah.
like this
Listen to
last
this.
tournament, like we just would throw the fish in the live well, put the tag on them, nothing all day long. Got to weigh in, all 7 were alive.
Yeah, we said
And normally we're like babying fish all day long, nothing.
105 heat index, and we
They're
didn't
tough.
we didn't use frozen water bottles
Nothing.
to stabilize or keep the water cool. We didn't put any the blue stuff in the water.
No weights on them.
No belly weights on the
nothing.
fish. Nothing. They just
Cold tags.
throw them
That's
back there with some cold tags, and we got back. Oh, they were just
flopping.
showing up.
That's good. Hey, I didn't even. I mean, I started throwing them straight on ice. All them eaters we were popping them. These right here that there's ice all below them right there. Then I covered them up with ice. Like I said, they're nothing big. They're little 10 and a half, 11-inch fish. But hey, I enjoy catching every one of them. I hope they do it again this weekend.
Some of them look a little bit bigger than what you said.
Probably so. I did catch some good. I caught a big blackfish right off the bat that morning. Scared me. I don't know where he was lost. I caught a pound and a half blackfish. I was like, "What are you doing, buddy? You're sitting here lost," because he clobbered the jig. And when me and Jimmy was fishing, I said, "I guess because I set the hook, started reeling, and I'm talking. All of a sudden, he started dogging. I said, "This ain't no whitefish," and it was a nice blackfish. So.
He said, "Hey, buddy, you can go for a ride too."
Yeah, he went for a ride. He did go for a ride. But I would poke 1 or 2 or 3 fish off of those places where the water it has a bigger area. But if you can find an area, guys, that's condensed down in a creek channel or something, and it's got some cover in it, there's probably a lot of fish in there. I learned that. In that area I caught those fish in that cooler, John, never thrown a rod and reel in there. I just went straight to it, and there it was. So that was awesome.
But about there on the river, though, is you can go there one day and then go the next, and like, whoa, where'd y'all go? Come back, friends.
There was a half mile, almost now, probably probably a half mile stretch of bend right there, and there was 3 tops that held fish. 3, and there was a lot of tops there. 3 of them were just enough out in the water, and to hold fish, and they were pretty aggressive. Joe Smith, how often are y'all fishing to keep fish to eat as opposed to just scouting, searching for slabs?
Me?
Yeah.
I keep fish. All right, so Jessica and I will fish like 2 months out of the year and keep fish. And we've got this one lake that we keep fish just for our family. And that's when we've got, like I said, about 2 months out of the year, that's when we clean fish for ourselves. Normally, if you ever see us like posting pictures of fish, it's people we've taken fishing or taken fish to, or like I said, we've got our time of the year, and this one lake that we like to keep fish out of for us. It's a clear water lake, and those 2 months out of the year they bite good in that clear water, and that's the ones we keep.
Yeah, that's like it. Yeah.
And keep
Go ahead,
just.
Jess.
Yeah.
We'll go fishing and keep just 7 and clean them like that night for supper.
Yeah.
Right.
We do that a lot. We're like, we want fish for supper tonight, so we'll go and just keep 7 fish. And we know we've got it down. Our oldest son's at college, so we keep 7. It's enough for the 3 of us still here at the house.
There you go. Well, like me, Joe, if I'm guiding or something, everybody wants to keep fish, of course, and I try to slip those big fish back, and I try to talk them into them. Don't get me wrong, but it depends on what area I'm fishing, Joe. Like Sunday, we were just those fish that were in that cooler. There are a lot of nice size eater fish, and hey, there's plenty there. I'm gonna take some out of there. And where I work, RMC Mechanical, we feed a lot of our customers, and they tear that crappie up. So I'm not trying to over harvest them by no means, but if if I get into 30, 40 of them, we're gonna keep them. But as far as searching for slabs, there's some big fish areas, Joe, that we fish that hold big fish, and we try not to keep those fish. We try to turn them loose. But to answer your question, we don't just keep fish unless like there's some special occasion, that we're keeping them for. Let's see. There's some more questions popped up.
What so can I comment on a quick thing? Matt Singley says he's got a fishing trip booked with Eric Cagle, his first one in Alabama.
Did I say that? I missed it somewhere.
Yeah, it was a new question, but
that's good.
You need to take
there. It is.
Take your notebook with you, and because you'll learn.
Yeah, Matt. Yeah, you fix to learn something, buddy.
We fish the same lakes. We fish some of the same lakes, but where Jessica and I live are not the same lakes he fishes because we're further south than him. But we do go fish some of the same lakes that Eric guides on. Eric was very instrumental in the beginning of live scoping for Shane and I both.
Oh yeah, big time, guys. You don't understand that. That's 4 years ago, maybe by now, 3.5, 4 years ago. But yes,
there's so many people he's helped and taught, and can't say enough about him. I mean, if you're ever with somebody that's helpful like that, and they've got their phone around them, they're constantly getting calls and questions. And the people who answer the phone and answer those questions, that's good folks. They're trying to help everybody get better. And Eric's definitely one of those people.
Yeah, he's kind of the godfather of casting this short line in these fish. I think he really is. He won a lot of tournaments doing it, and kind of something I was doing as far as just casting, but I didn't perfect my craft, I guess you would say, till I went out with him a few times, and it kind of dialed me in. I think I went out with him. I've been on 3 or 4 guide trips with Eric over the years, and I know John's been on a few with him. So you're definitely you're gonna learn something, man. He always answers the phone, guys. He's busy. I mean, that's what I attribute a lot of his success to. He's a good guy, and he stays busy. I mean, big time. He stays booked up for a while. So I seen somebody's question. Country Cousin Greg asked something. While crappie fishing, what seems to be the most common other fish you catch? I don't catch a lot of other fish. I mean, catfish,
I'm kind of a bud about, brim too, but I'm kind of a bud about it. Like, I can tell.
Tail whip.
Right.
That tail whip. And we can tell. You get to where you can tell what kind of fish it is. And especially if you're fishing a tournament, you take it away from them.
Oh, yeah. They're going to tear your little jig up and everything else. Them bass will jump on it.
You don't want to deal with that crap, catfish, while you're trying to catch crappie. But, I mean, today was awesome. We had a blast catching those catfish. But I'd say the bycatch of crappie fishing is catfish, brim, and some bass and spotted. Especially spotted bass, man.
Spotted bass jump on them. I got into them at Smith Lake one time, and I'll be honest with you, the crappie fishing wasn't on fire. We had a handful, and a school of shad come by, and I looked, and I seen them little old 14 inchers, and they were running like sharks. And we caught 25, 30 of them things. We had a blast just dropping in on them. So that was fun. But yeah, most of the time, Greg, we're taking the bait away from most of those bass, and there's plenty of people trying to catch them things out there, I promise you.
I will say when we get bored, I'll throw out a gar or a catfish.
Oh, yeah. I tell people, believe it or not, and John will attest to this, in that timber, there's a lot of big crappie that look like carp until you can't tell the difference in them, guys, until they move. And I let people all the time practice on carp. I said, move that fish. Make that fish move. Throw by that fish, and sometimes when you see it release, it's like, hey, that's not a carp, and it's hitting that bait. But I practice on it too, Jess. That's great practice throwing at those trash fish.
One of the biggest things when you go to these places that have so many fish, like Alabama River, Grenada, places that just have an abundance of fish, is learning to distinguish between what you're wanting to catch versus what you see. Um, that's that's one of the toughest things is when you there's places you can go. I mean, there's gizzard shad the size of crappie, and they'll be running together in a school, and you're like,
Yeah.
But that quick darting and flashing motion, you know that it's not what you're looking for, and then you start learning what the profile is, what you want,
That's
and
right.
like you can be running wide open and see that profile and stop the boat. Like, all right, there's one in open water, and the rest of them might be on timber, and you'll be like, all right, casting that fish right there, and boom, that's a bigger fish because it's out by itself.
Right. You're exactly right. Like it's it's kind of to me it's like all these hunters that hunt a cutover. The first time I hunted a cutover, I'm straining myself, looking for something, a flicker or a deer horn. Now, you run live scope, time on the water. We preach that all the time. You start picking up on these fish as fast, and I've carried clients out, and all of a sudden they started picking out fish. Oh, there's one. Is that one? He's suspect. Could be, could not be. You start picking them out, and the more time on the water, you start picking up on all those things. For sure. Let's see what Matt's saying he's going to fish in Alabama. I'm sorry, he's not going to Grenada. He's coming. I guess he's coming to Mitchell or.
He was. That's why he was asking if we fish some of the same lakes and not.
Yeah. He stays on the Coosa Riverside, Matt, a lot. And there's no telling. I don't know what time of year you're going to go with him, but I've been over there with him in several of those places he fishes, and I promise you, if it's February, March, you get your eyes opened up. It's gonna be awesome.
Hey Shane, can you see the question Joe Smith asked about live scope at night?
Yeah, I just seen that. I just got to it. I was fixing to click on it.
Oh my bad, but hey,
No, you're good. I was just fixing to click on it.
that is a very very good question.
Yeah, it is, Joe.
It so a lot of the time, like when you go and fish a tournament or fun fish, you'll get there before daylight, and the picture is definitely different.
Oh yeah.
Something about when that light gets above the water, to me personally, it clears that light scope up some. I mean, you can make some settings, adjustments, and
Right.
and take some of that out before daylight. But once that sun gets up, it definitely to me opens it up. It's like it almost like before the sun gets up, the particulate is more in the water and you can see it more. So maybe you have to bump your gain down. But it's definitely a different picture at night.
Yeah, they got some night colors. There's an option on the night colors now. I don't,
Yeah.
on there, Joe, but I like he's saying when the sun pokes up and gets that light and penetrates that water, I guess it's a lot less trash. Like he was saying, you have to mess with your gain a lot. And so, I mean, there's people out there that catch crappie at night with a live scope for sure. If that's something you're interested in doing, I know you like to night fish, you and Jordan, but you can sure do it for sure.
Country cousin.
Yeah, country cousin. He said I went catfishing today, caught a spotted bass on cut bait. I believe it. They like stuff that's white. John and Jessica, have you ever caught any other fish while catfishing?
Absolutely.
Eels.
It was called eels, bass. We use it. Yeah, we use a lot of live bait because we're trying to catch flathead. Caught bass. We've got drum. We've got blue catfish, channel catfish. Flatheads are we're kind of catfish snobs. We throw back every catfish except flatheads.
Yeah, I know that they're good to eat. That's what's in. I got some catfish in the freezer right here behind me on my right.
Yeah,
Sure do.
we've caught loggerhead turtles. Anything you can imagine catfishing.
Snakes.
Yeah, we had a
Dad.
yeah we had a so, man. This one time we had her dad on the boat, and we were running jugs, and her dad he starts pulling this jug in. He's like, whoa, 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 and I was like, whoa, what's wrong? He said, whoa. He just kept saying, whoa. Well, there was a small channel cat on the jug, and a water moccasin had bitten it and it had a hold of the catfish. He's swinging the catfish in the boat and saying, "Whoa!" I said, "No, no, 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 whoa, whoa." But,
Hey, those cottonmouths, you do not want them things in the boat. I promise you.
man, finally the cottonmouth let go, and the catfish. I don't know. He made it, but he didn't get to stay in the boat.
Yeah. While I'm thinking about it, guys, I want to announce something. John already knows. Jessica already knows. April the 6th, we have. What am I looking for?
Tournament.
Yeah, we have a turn. We have Bridgeport Landing reserved. Excuse me, that's the word I'm looking for. Reserved for a tournament. We're gonna have a big open tournament, April the 6th. We're gonna get some title belts made. It's not gonna be any trophies. It's gonna be some title belts, and we don't know what we're gonna name the tournament, but it's gonna be like the Lower Alabama Crappie King belt. I don't know. It's gonna be some bling. We're going to invite everybody that's anybody that wants to come fish it. Hopefully we get some big name guys. April the 6th, the fish are going to be big then. They're going to be full of eggs. We're going to weigh in 7 fish and hopefully have some fun, man. And y'all put that on your radar. April the 6th. Big Daddy's going to help promote it. John's going to help promote it. And we're going to have some fun. Miller's Ferry, April the 6th. So I'm going to go ahead and say,
I don't
put
know.
that out there.
We've kicked it around. I don't know if we've ever seen anybody hold that. Has there been a belt?
I haven't seen a belt. They have it in the Alabama Bass Trail, the top 100 to have belts. And Big Daddy told me, and we were discussing that other night. But April the 6th, we're gonna have a big open crappie tournament right there at Miller's Ferry. I've talked to Eric, and hopefully he'll make it. And I know Kevin to come, and Aaron, and Knight, and Scott Mitchell, and hopefully get Brandon Threadgill and get Scott Williams from Georgia. I hope we get some hammers in there and show what Miller's Ferry can put out, because that time of year, 14, 15 pound, 16 pound bag, it could happen. So,
and guys, we're not going to have like a little, I feel like the payout's going to be pretty good on it. So
yeah, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be pretty good, guys. The payout's going to be good. CrappieKast is going to be behind it. I just don't know what we're going to name it. But Bridgeport Landing is one of the nicest launches in the state of Alabama. We got it reserved. Trey Wade, he's running that schedule for them. And I asked him, "You have a bass tournament?" He goes, "Nope." I said, "Well, you got a tournament. We're going to have a crappie tournament right there. Going to have some fun." April 6th, we got plenty of time to plan it. And we're going to be pumping it up. But anybody, it's an open tournament. Like I said, we're going to have some fun, guys. And there's going to be a lot of fellowship doing that. And we're going to have some fun, like I said, just to put together a tournament and have some fun and catch some big fish, man. It's going to be fun. Let's see if we bling, Aaron Knight. That's awesome. That's what we're doing it for, Aaron. I mean,
yeah, he wants to hold that.
Hey, it sounds obnoxious, but hey, man, how much it going to cost? Kevin, we're thinking $100 entry fee. It may change, but hey, we want that payout. We're going to guarantee $2,500. I'll put that out there right now. First place, $2,500, Aaron. No, we're going to do that, and I hope it's $5,000 by the time April comes. I want it to be worth somebody's while, and I want to be put on the crappie radar all over the nation. Hey, we had some hammers, and somebody won $5,000 right here at Miller's Ferry. You don't have to get these. It just be put on by us, the community. So. Hey, we're gonna have some fun, man. Like I said, we can have a Mad Adam King of the Hill showdown. We can. Hey, that's what Kevin's suggesting. We're gonna come up with a name and have some fun. That's what tournament fishing's about, fun. So we're gonna definitely get into it. There'll be a crappie King belt. It's gonna be fun, guys. Somebody was asking about decals, Joe. The CrappieKast decals, we're actually getting some. I talked to Jake today. Hopefully we'll have some decals at the Crappie Expo on the 22nd when we're there. Through the 24th, we're going to have some decals there. John and Jessica's got new shirts on. We're in the works of getting those shirts made. We're trying to find a manufacturer where you can get them pretty reasonable, where they don't, just get in your pocketbook, because some of the shirts that I have, they're $50, man, by the time I get through putting stuff on them. So we're trying to get it where you can, they're not too costly, because kids are back in school now and all that stuff. So
I know Shane as of right now, we're going to have 100 shirts at the expo. Various sizes. Going to be white and blue at this point, I think. And they'll be, like I said, different sizes. And I think they're going to be $30 for a shirt.
There you go. There you go. We're going to try it. And the stickers, man, we'll probably just, I don't know, we'll probably let them things rip. But we have a corner booth, guys. So I want to show out at this Crappie Expo. I want to have a crowd around there and show them what's going on. You know, in Alabama's, you know, and hopefully one of our buddies is going to be leading the tournament in the top 5, and they can come interview with us. So it's going to be fun. The 22nd through the 24th of September, we're getting ready. Country Cousin said he'll be there. Let's see. Yeah, I'm hoping that tournament it gets it's going to get some. Like I said, I want to put Miller's Ferry on the map because it is a great thing as far as coming together and the fellowship of it and getting there and talking crappie. You know, that's why we started this thing too. So, yeah, Aaron wants to know if you fish in the expo.
Me?
Yeah.
No, we're going, Aaron. We're going to be there with our booth. So
We'll be at the booth, buddy. That's what we're just discussing about, Aaron. We're going to be at the booth number 7. We're right there on the corner.
we're going to have a Aaron Knight smile camera, and we're going. Yeah.
I salute Aaron.
Yeah.
There you go, Aaron. Yeah, man. Hey, we're gonna be there, Aaron. I think Aaron's gonna fish it. I think he's fishing the expo. Which, like I said, I hope somebody that we know is leading that thing, and they can come in and sit in the booth with us. We're gonna have a recording equipment, or microphone, and everything with us. We'll be mobile. We're waiting on Jessica's headphones to come in. That way, we can all look like me right now. But and hopefully be recording this thing. I'm not used to all this stuff, guys. Only time I ever wore these things, guys, is when I worked at U.S. Steel and we were running the welders, running steel. I had to wear earplugs and these earmuffs. So I promise you.
Jessica's already got her headphones. We had to get like a bigger size for my big head. That's what it was.
Oh goodness, that's awesome, guys. It's been a great show, man. We got 65 people. Been on here an hour. I mean, y'all making this thing grow, guys. I made a post about it earlier. We're at 5,800 followers. I just got a notification on YouTube where I can monetize the thing. We got enough watch hours on it to start getting it going. I think we hit 3,000 watch hours. Got to get 4,000 to really get it up. But I appreciate everybody that tunes in on YouTube too, because a lot of guys, they watch this thing after the fact, after it's recorded. So Aaron said he's going to be there. Mike Letkins is tuned in. Appreciate you. Mike Letkins said he had a good day. I'm sure we'll see the pictures on Big Daddy's page. That's awesome, man. I hope I didn't miss anybody's question. If we did, we'll get back to it, guys. I'm going to be thanking the sponsors after the show, guys. It's so hard to do in this hour because it blows by. You get on all these different subjects and, you know, talking about catching fish and having fun and tournament announcements. But April 6th, guys, y'all put it on your radar. We're going to have some fun. It's going to be fun. Somebody's going to win some money, and there'll be some weights caught. So let me make sure I don't miss anything. Dustin said, awesome show. Love you guys. Appreciate it, Dustin. I appreciate everybody tuning in. We're going to get off of this thing, man. Let everybody enjoy dinner and their family since they're home. And I know kids were in school and all that stuff. So appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, John and Jessica. Y'all stay on. We'll be back next Thursday. And John and I is going to try to record an in-depth series, I guess, next week. We're going to try to get in that and get into details, guys, and take suggestions we get from the show. And I'll let y'all know when we put that out. We've got to get some qualifying shows to get on Spotify and iHeartRadio and all that stuff. There's some little stuff you got to go through. But appreciate everybody tuning in. John and Jessica, thank y'all as always. They brought it. Congratulations on your win. The kids' tournament went well. We talked about that early in the show. But we'll see y'all later, guys.